Hey guys, how's it going? So, I've been asked about the performance of my Cascade 500 filter with the filter media that I have. How's it working? How's it doing? It's doing quite well. About, I say, maybe every 3 weeks or so, I actually take the filter apart and I do a quick clean. I don't scrub any I don't scrub the motor out or the propeller or anything or impeller or anything else like that. I just basically empty the water out after I've disconnected it. This is full right now, so I basically empty the water out, and then I run tank or the actual water from the tank, which I've got about 4 gallons in this bucket here. I run that through the system or through the container to wash out anything that's left over, and then I plug the filter back in and go at it. But I can give you a demonstration as far as the performance of this actual filter, and I think it does an excellent job, as well as the filter media that I've got. So let's go ahead and take the lid off. I always do this in the tub because there's actually quite a bit of water, residual water, that gets trapped in here. And I've always noticed lots of dirt and debris and so on ends up in here. So doing this is a good idea. Now I'll go into a couple more things. I actually don't change my filters, and I'll explain that here in a minute. Alright, so that's pretty much taken care of. I like to set it upside down so it doesn't leak any more water. I look at the insides where the impeller is to make sure nothing's caught in there, and there's nothing. So we'll go ahead and take the top tray off. And I was drop it in the fish tank water. Remember, this is dechlorinated water. This water is from the actual fish tank. I'm doing a water change right now. So I'm doing the filter change at the exact same time, or the filter cleaning. So I'm not using any chlorinated water to wash this out. And then what I like to do is this seal here, I make sure that it's still on there properly. Just kind of give it a wipe. So here's my 2 trays coming out. On the top, obviously, I've got my Biohome Ultimate right there on the top, and I don't like to keep this out of the water for too long, so I try to do this as quick as possible. Basically, I separate the 2 trays. So here's the Biohome Ultimate. I'll separate the 2 trays. I'll set this aside. I don't mess with it, I don't wash it, I don't do any of that stuff. And here's the filter, the 3 filter medias, the coarse, medium, and fine. And you can see here, it does a really good job getting rid of the gunk, okay? So what I do from here is I take this little tray component here, snap this off, clean off the handle, then take the filter media out, just like that, and you can see it's, it gets pretty dirty. I mean, there's quite a bit there, and what I'll do is I'll let that soak for a couple minutes in the fresh water that came from the tank. Here's the medium foam right here. It does a really good job taking out the bigger particulates. You can't really see it too well because it's black and it's dark in the bathroom, but yeah, it does a pretty good job. There's some media there, or some waste there, and then the coarse, which is on the bottom, that also does a really good job getting the really big stuff, which doesn't really get trapped in here. You can see some of it on the other side, a little bit there. So there's a little bit on the other side there, not too bad. And again, I let that soak in the water, and then I'll take the tray, kind of give it a quick dip in the water to get anything solid off of it. Set that aside as well, and then you can see the actual water here. And I'm going to go ahead and turn on my lamp. Okay, so this is what it looks like, and you can see there's quite a bit of debris down in there, a lot of debris, and this is 2 weeks worth of debris approximately. So all of that that's sitting there at the bottom has been stopped by the filter, okay? And yeah, it does an exceptional job. I'm gonna go ahead and drain this out. Oh yeah, see how nasty that is? All that at the bottom of the filter, okay? So at this point, now I reload my filters, my mechanical filters that is. I reload them. The course is always at the bottom, which is this one right here. So I reload my filter, course at the bottom. Then you got your medium, which is next. Give it another quick dip. There's the medium. And I can always tell if it's coming out clean because of the white tub. Anything that's coming out of the filter, if it looks dirty or whatever, then I give it another quick dip. So it's not going to be perfect. And then I get my fine filter. The fine one, I have to actually kind of squeeze it to get all the rest of it out. So there's a little bit here left, but again, that's not something that I'm really worried about. It's just a little bit. And I can even dip it again if I'm not sure. Sometimes I do this. So I'll dip it again, give it a quick, another dip and a wring out. So there, that looks a lot better. So I'll go ahead and reload this, and then there's a couple of individual pieces that I've got for the fine filter that fell in here. Just some pieces that didn't get all the way, or that I didn't perfectly cut. So set those in there. There's another one down in here. So put that back in there. Alright, so now I'll get my handle. Reinsert the handle. Okay, so now the handle is back in and the filter tray has been reloaded, but I'm going to set that aside for a second because I still have some crap down here in the bottom. So what I actually do is I take my bucket of water, even though it's a little dirtier, it's still a lot cleaner than what was in there. Pour that in there, drain it out, and look on the inside, and it's pretty clean. You know, there's nothing left in there, so it's clean. So now it's ready for me to actually reinsert the filters. Now the reason I don't change the actual mechanical filters is because there's a lot of good bacteria on these, and simply cleaning off the filter itself, yes, it's going to break down over time, but the mechanical filters don't necessarily need to be changed every single time you change out or clean your filter. So go ahead and make sure that's locked into place, and make sure that so that's what it looks like back in place. We'll get our grill here, put this back on just like that. Make sure that this part here is totally sealed down, and I'm probably gonna have to get a new one of these pretty soon because it is seeing some wear. Fortunately, Penplax actually has replacement parts, so I'll probably get a new one of these here pretty soon. And then I go ahead and get the lid back on, but before I do that real quick, just verify that I've gotten all the crap out. And then line up the hole where it's supposed to go. Lock it in place, and now we're ready. So now I can hook the filter back up, which I'm going to do here pretty quickly. And I've basically cleaned out the filter. Again, a lot of people replace the filter media. I personally don't believe in that because I believe that there's quite a bit of beneficial bacteria inside the filter media. So I leave it as is. When it starts to break down to the point where it looks all fragile, then of course I'm going to replace it. But filter media, especially the kind that I got, is pretty expensive. So I don't feel the need to have to replace it. As long as it's doing its job, which it is doing its job really, really well. Believe me, my tank is doing really well. Then I have no need to replace the media. Just rinse it off using the tank water, non-chlorinated water, and then just hook it back up, and we're all set. So yeah, so if that gives you an idea on the performance, on how it actually does. There's some of the leftover gunk that came out of the filter. So yeah, that's just from the filters, okay? So that does a really, really good job of filtering out the tank. So well, hopefully that helps you in determining just how good this filter does. So anyway, if you have any questions, let me know. Take care.